Someone's decided she's going to try and follow me to the allotment. So I'm now trying to lead her back to the house. Come on, cat. Very little monster. Come on, Rosie. So hello and welcome to another edition of The Hidden Plot. Slightly different setup today in that I'm at home speaking to you. I was at the plot, but there was lots of people up there and I didn't want to look more crazy than I usually do and talking to myself. So I popped up. We are doing a sunflower competition with some friends, so I just potted on another couple because people have asked to take part. Basically is grow the tallest sunflower you can and send a picture through in the chance to win a voucher. As you can see, I'm putting a pot in a pot, so then they've got everything that they need to pot on. Once that was done, I moved on to the sweet corn. Now, the glass is obviously full of sweet corn, so we've been watching some other videos. There's a brilliant chap in the north called Tony, and we've been watching him and some of the ones that he's recommended of what we should be doing. So I soaked them overnight. Apparently, it's the thing to do. And then sadly, we don't have any of the root trainers that he was talking about on his video. I'll put the link in below so you can have a watch of his and see what we're talking about. But I've used the biggest ones that we've got, or at least hopefully the deepest ones that we've got to make a start. So as you would with any other seeds, I've put the compost in the seed trays. Then got my dibber, which I got for my birthday from my in-laws. Brilliant thing. I think it's probably one of the most used things in the polytunnel. Made sure that I was following the instructions. Put in, I think it was a 4 centimetre deep hole, and then put one seed per pot. And then when it was ready, obviously this is speeded up, and then covered it all with compost again. And then I gave it a good water and I put them under propagation lids and I moved them somewhere else. So that's the sunflowers done and the sweet corn done, and hopefully all ready for them to germinate. Then moved on to the courgette, squash and cucumber. As you can see, they're all doing really well, and I've got another squash coming through, but to help sort of with their growth, I've decided that I'd put them on. Now these pots are great, I got these off Amazon. They are quite soft and flexible, and they're a bit of a nightmare to sort of split up, but in terms of using them for potting on, I've just found that they're great. Now I keep showing you the roots because these seedlings have only been sort of in since the 2nd of April, and I just can't get over in 17 days how much those roots have sort of taken on. Quick water, and then thankfully this is speeded up because otherwise you'd see me sort of stood at the trays of seeds basically trying to figure out where the heck I'm going to put these seedlings now that they've been potted on. And although it was a gloriously sunny day, that breeze had some chill in it, so I did come up sort of prepared for both weathers, or at least I hope for both weathers. But I did only sort of come up to do the sweet corn and then I was going to pop back home again, so I didn't really come dressed for the allotment. But you know what it's like when you get there and then you think, oh well, I'll do another job, and then that job turns into another job, yeah, and so on and so forth. So that should be them all potted up now. Bit of a water, and off we go on to the next job. So this was lettuce, not really sure what happened to it because it was fine on Friday, but as you can see it's a little bit gone. And then we've got some leeks in there too, but as you can see they're a bit few and far between and then really struggling to take off. So plan is to sow some more, and hopefully with the hundreds of leeks that I'm obviously sowing, something will come of something. So these are the 2 different types of leeks we've got. And I'm just going to put them in one big tray. So I've sewed these into 2 rows, obviously 1 row of one and 1 row of the other. and then giving them a gentle sprinkling, so because they're meant to be about ½ an inch deep. Quick water, so then you can see the ones on the right, which were the previous ones, and the new ones. Then moved on to the next job. So we've grown 2 different types of lettuce, neither of which seem to be doing very well, so I figured I'm just going to chuck them out. Got some Swiss chard and some runner beans. So I went and grabbed one of the planks that we've been using around the plot to sort of help with the paths, and I thought the best thing to probably do is to try and make sure I get a straight line. So I drew it out using the edge and using my, oh, what is that thing called? Anyway, drawn a straight line, bit of a drill, grab the seeds and scatter them along. So the way that I've done it here is I've done lettuce, Swiss chard, and then lettuce again. Please don't ask me which way around the 2 lettuces were, but one's a Tom Thumb and one is an all year round. So thinly sown into the ground, which thankfully Sean has been keeping on top of the weeds. And then I cracked on with doing those. So obviously each one, because they are different types, they all require different depths of drills. So I did make sure I read the instructions before I cracked on with doing that, and then again sort of moved on to the next and moved on to the next again, gently covering as I went. Now I didn't water after each one because yesterday we had an almighty downpour here. I don't know if you did too. So the soil was actually quite damp, and I figured if I did a bit of a water, especially given that this was still relatively early in the morning, probably about 10:30. For those with you with kids, I bet you're thinking 10:30 is not early in the morning. But it just seemed a bit overkill, and given that I'm trying to kill a dahlia in the tunnel at the minute because I've overwatered it, I am trying my best not to do that again with everything else. So finally, before we go, just a quick tour and a bit of an update. So lots of weeds in the raspberries. So this was one of the jobs I was supposed to come up for and do today, but like I say, I wasn't really dressed for the allotment. When I got there, I decided that there was more there than I thought, and I wanted to bring up my fork. Especially if I sort of walk towards the end, you will see that there is some bindweed. Now Sean was up there Thursday or Friday, and he had a quick sort of walk around the beds then, and there was nothing there. And then I have actually slowed this video down because I realised I was walking exceptionally fast around the allotment and not giving myself enough time to talk it over. But if we look here, these have actually full on sprouted out the ground, and we've got some decent leaves on them. That was probably about 6 inches tall. So I definitely want to be doing that, taking that out properly. So I'm going to go out with a spade and dig that out and try and get as down as I can to get rid of it. But then when you look over to the strawberries, they're actually pretty much weed free, and touch wood, and doing really well. So the ones in the middle are the ones that we found on the plot and we grew in the polytunnel for a bit. The other 15 on the right hand side are the ones that we ordered through Amazon, and then the other 10 that are on the left, which were a later addition, they are ones from Thompson & Morgan. So we've got definitely 2 different varieties in there, and possibly a third because we don't know what it is. And then we've got the sweet peas. So poor little things, they do seem to be doing alright out there, but they do seem to be getting battered by the wind. So if anyone's got any hints and tips on how we can sort of try and protect them a bit more, Sean joked and said we could put one of those beach things, you know, when you're trying to not get the wind on the beach. He joked and said we could do that, but then obviously 1, we don't have one, and 2, just no. I mean, could you imagine putting one of those up at your allotment? I mean, it would look very fetching. So then here's the box of sunflowers. So as I mentioned in one of the previous videos, we've grown some additional stuff that we can give away outside our house, because we do have a lot of dog walkers that go past our house. So here we have about 12 sunflowers. We did stick them out on the end of the drive. I think I've only actually got 5 left at the end of today, so I'll pop them out again tomorrow, see if we get any more takers. That's where the bed where the sweet corn's going to go. And another bed that we've got yet to fill. I think that's the one that we're going to put the leeks in. So beds are ready, they're just waiting for the vegetables. It's like, come on, grow. Still got a bit of work to do with the pond. A bit of a shame that that water is there, which is ideally where the pond is. It's just not in the pond. And then this is why I'm struggling to find space at the minute. It is full. I'm even balancing them on compost bags and on my shelf across the top. But everything seems to be doing pretty well. I went back this evening and did a water, and everything seems pretty happy apart from that one dahlia. So I've trimmed the leaves off that are wilting really badly and hoping that that will help. Then we've got the bed on the right is what we were working on today. And then I actually put in some more runner beans, which I sort of showed the packet for earlier on in the thing, on the left as well. It's my shadow. I should have waved. Then we've got our peas, so we're starting to get some things sprouting up in the peas, and we can't figure out whether they're actually weeds, because there are some weeds popping up too, or if they are actually peas. So watch this space and see if anything happens. So that's where I put some runner beans. So we put 9 runner beans down the left hand side. I've got another 20 growing in the polytunnel, and I will pop them out at some point. Then we've got these 4 beds, so one should be for herbs, one should be for pumpkin, one for squash, and one for courgette. If I remember correctly, I could be completely wrong. I could have the onions down this end, because I've still got onions that I need to put somewhere at some point as well. And then as we move towards the end, on the left, I've got all these beautiful dandelions. Why they're only on the left and not the right, I don't know, but I'm not complaining. I quite like the fact that I have a bit of flowerage there. That isn't the plan though, so I obviously still need to come up and do the wild seed. But while it is as cold as it is, I want to give it a little bit longer. So that's us for today, people. Thank you very much for watching. But like I say, a bit of a different setup, but if you are enjoying our videos, please remember to press like and subscribe, and you'll get a little notification next time one's up. But please stay safe, and we will speak to you all soon. Take care now. Bye.